to the SpyParty Masters Championship. My name is Taboshi. I'm joined today by Ponoob.
Howdy, howdy.
And we've got Wrestler as our host and observer today. So, final round of Group A. This is where we figure out what the locked-in version of this part of the bracket is going to be. We've got Opiwrites versus Graash, and whoever wins this match locks in second place in their bracket. Probably. Let me explain. So, Graash, theoretically, can get first in the group, but they have to win by 15-1 or better, which is not very likely to happen. Graash also gets through in second if they draw this. So Opiwrites needs to find a win here if they want to get through into the final bracket. And if they do get through, they will be second in their group.
Yeah, and second's good enough here. I don't think Graash is going to be expecting to go 15-1 against anybody, let alone Opiwrites. But second will get you through and get you into the semifinals. So there's a lot of money on the line here. This is a big deal, and let's just get into it. Let's look into picks and bans.
Yeah, main thing to note here is Graash does effectively have draw odds. So that's the situation we're in right now. As far as the picks and bans are concerned, Graash is going to take out Redwoods. Opie is going to take out Aquarium. Graash is going to restrict Balcony. Opie is going to restrict Terrace. I know you were very surprised, Ponoob, to see Graash double Ballroom.
Yeah, so Opiwrites has been a big advocate and a big fan of Ballroom. To see Graash pick it when Opiwrites probably would have already picked it for him is a bit unusual. I think he could have probably just left it and let Opiwrites take it. But guaranteeing that we are going to get the 4 games of Ballroom, Graash does pick it, leaving OP the ability to then pick Gallery as the other doubled venue.
So double Ballroom into doubled Gallery, and then we get Highrise. Opiwrites takes a Balcony pick into Graash's Restrict. Graash responds by taking a Terrace pick into Opie's Restrict. And Opie is going to round out the match with Modern.
Yeah, that's a lot of maps that have a lower mission count. Balcony, obviously, with only having 2 of 3. But Highrise and Terrace are both 3 missions to win, and Modern, while it's 4, is one of the ones that used to be 5. Like, it's perhaps like the lowest feeling of the 4 of X's. So I think both these players really just want to play the same venues. This feels like both players just had the same draft strategy, and they should both feel comfortable going into basically every venue, even if it wasn't the one that they particularly picked themselves.
Yeah, they do seem to be more or less agreeing on what they want. But either way, once we actually get into things, it's going to be Opiwrites starting things off on the Spy side.
Whoa. Excuse me, gentlemen. We forgot one important thing, that is predictions. I admire your haste, Tobo, but we have to do this.
Right. I have such a hard time betting against Opie. I think Graash is on a really good run right now, but Opie just has this uncanny ability to turn up when the pressure is highest. So I think Opie is going to start behind but win.
I'll say the exact same thing, because I understand that we want some drama. I feel like that's actually a quite likely curve here, is when it comes down to it, Opie does have more experience in high like pressure matches, not high level matches, because Graash has played his fair share of top opponents, but a lot of semifinals, a lot of finals for Opie over the years, and Graash can't necessarily say the same.
Opie is not going to have the benefit of starting from the sniper side, though. It's going to be Opie spying first, which means they're, generally speaking, going to be sort of a map, not a map, a game down throughout the match. But we'll see what they're able to do with it, starting from the spy side of Ballroom, any 4 of 8 versus Graash's Sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And when we talk about Opie, and especially on Ballroom, he is quite willing to rush. And here it comes, the Purloin, Green Purloin,
Oh
and we're
boy.
immediately going to walk away into a 34% flirt into statues. No, we found an empty conversation. We found
Yeah,
a
not
place
statues
to hang
yet.
out.
I think plan is to get back into conversation with the seduction target as quickly as possible here. It does look like Graash has a really good read on this Purloin, though. And I think Opie is going to be able to see the laser jumping around and getting all of these lights. So maybe now they slow down a bunch. They realize they've been caught out a little bit here and aren't really able to push this as far as they'd like to.
Yeah, the Purloin wasn't as early as you'd like. These most effective, like Chaos Purloins, the ones super early in the game, are kind of taking advantage of the fact that the list is probably like the third most valuable thing. You want to watch and memorize your statues. You want to protect the ambassador. Opie, just because Toby wasn't like particularly near him at the start, took about 5 seconds maybe to get the Purloin done, and by that time, not only has Graash been able to find Toby, which is actually half the issue, but able to catch the Purloin, both the reject, and then also every single person who wasn't, I believe, Red Dress who took the drink.
I really like the idea putting the enemy sniper under a really high amount of pressure early on in the very first game of a match, but it doesn't look like it's going to work out for Opie this time around. We don't know. It's possible, but chances are Graash is going to be able to find a way through here. Opie is able to finish their flirt, but with just the one hardtail done, 2 missions to. That's a good fake though.
Yeah, one thing that we haven't mentioned so far is because we also had the very suspicious reject, and it was in the first few seconds of the game, compared to Red Dress, who's doing a take 15, 20 seconds into the game. It definitely feels like if you're just looking at the Purloin, that OP is the spy. If he can change the way that Graash feels using things like banana bread, that would be impressive at this point. He's got a minute left on the clock.
Well, he's given Red Dress a real contact, but Red Dress hasn't been moving, unfortunately. She's really been very stationary in this conversation.
Yeah, and I think there are percentages where OP can win this, but it's relying on things like Red Dress going to middle statues and doing 2 animations. It's not going to be anything to do with you, Toby. Go away. We've already got. And
There's a
here
bug
comes
on
the
the way
bug.
through. I'm
There's no
assuming that
world
was
to take the
seen.
shot.
It was indeed. Graash is able to take the shot and converts on that early victory.
Yeah, even if he caught Graash blinking right when the bug goes off, the fact that he's been near the ambassador is probably going to warrant a shot. The reality is, since we didn't have a real contact, this was only ever going to be the third mission. So Graash could have held it, but a bug's a bug.
It was a pretty solid bug on the way through as well. We sort of caught the ambassador in motion. I don't think, well, maybe we were able to see a little bit of the arm lacking movement as we turned away from the ambassador there, but that's really the only signal we gave off other than just the path.
Yeah. Yeah, it really just comes down to SpyParty. I feel like chess. Like if you're playing chess and you like lose your queen in the first few moves, you can keep on playing, but it's just one of those games you're like, well, I've lost,
Yeah.
but I'll play for another few minutes. I got you. Uh,
Graash
go for it.
on spy side up by 1 versus Opie's sniper. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Okay, what's it gonna be here? Red dress and not taking the immediate bug. We might still actually get suspicion for that because it really did feel like we probably should have taken it.
It kind of did, didn't it? 34% on the first flirt, and that's about it so far, despite a very tempting Time of Chaos bug opportunity that did not wind up getting taken.
Yeah, we are in a decent spot here for an early contact. Just 3 full conversations already. If a fourth conversation happens or a few of these people settle. Early contacts are a bit weird. You don't really want to give lowlights early because you don't really know with 3 minutes left on the clock who's going to be the most suspicious AI, who's going to give you cover or an alibi or potentially just a miss shot. But if everybody's just going to stand in conversation, we're not going to have anything else done. Uh, Everybody's being credited for the flirt, including us, 68%.
Yeah, that's the second flirt done, this time off the timer. If everyone else is going to stand around and do nothing, we may as well too, as long as we're next to our seduction target. So that's our second flirt out of the way. We are going to need to get nice and close for our third, because we haven't been able to hit any greens.
Banana
But
red.
first things first, contact comes off to knock out specifically Smallman and one other, but mostly Smallman.
Yeah, a bit of fortune there that everybody who I was mentioning was in conversation has been staying in conversation. The cost, of course, being that like 10 people in this party are not really completing missions. And we were eating the highlight because we've gone back to the same conversation.
I think that might have been a flirt pairing on this highlight here. It was a back and forth, not directly to back where we came from, but pretty close to. Flirt is
Yeah,
done, but at what cost?
Opie's not considered the most behavioral player, but this might be the most standard start for a spy, right? You got flirt done, you did contact when it was available, you're looking at what you're going to be doing next. If you're looking at just red dress, if you're just watching this game, like we are as a spectator, you go, "Yep, this person's about to go to middle statues. This person's gonna go
Yeah,
do a bug in about 15 seconds."
I feel like he's a little bit behind the curve here, actually. I think most
Banana
spies
red.
would have taken a visit to statues by now, if not
Uh,
finished the
if we
statues.
can get nah, I was hoping here for maybe a purloin chain. Uh, if twin and wheels rejected, then we would have a nice chain, and we would be able to argue that we should be next in line if we were requesting Toby over. But it doesn't happen. In fact, really nothing's happening. This is a
There it is. There's the green purloin at the windows this time. I don't think Toby was actually had enough room to visit us while we were in that conversation,
Yeah.
because we were so close on the back. But so we go to the painting and do it there instead. There's the take. How's the reaction from Opie? Oh, it's
Uh,
safety off on the wrong person. That's the shot, but it's on the twin, and Graash goes up by 2.
yeah, there's a curious thing that happened with the contacts. So we did the real contact first and then did the fake. Uh, Twin would have had it considered the other way around, a fake and then the real. If you're wondering who's trying to complete missions, I would argue that more often than not, it's a fake followed by a real is much more common for the spy. In addition to the fact that I suspect this twin uh, went to middle statues earlier, we can try and double check. Or potentially a bug path. I'm not sure why he got the highlight. Oh, it was the reject earlier. He had a nice little quick reject and then decided to purloin this time. I'm not sure what the fourth mission credited is for OP then. But this is the rewards for doing the second banana bread. Completely
Yeah.
necessary, but very necessary.
So we were surprised that Graash was the one who doubled Ballroom, but it's certainly working out so far. Let's see if he's able to keep this train rolling from the sniper side as Opiwrites gets back in the spy shoes in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, if you're
Or
looking to
spy
max it,
boots, rather.
yeah, we're in now we're in spy riding boots. Probably a word for that. I always like a good banana bread purloin, especially in like game one, because it kind of maximizes your win rate or win
Oh,
opportunities.
oh, oh, oh! That was, he went
That's
for
red
the
test.
animation transfer, didn't hit the green. Actually, I think he may have hit a red and just straight up bailed on it, doing a twitch there for the wacky little lean back animation that you don't think to look for because you're looking for the arm drop.
Yeah, I was watching from the sniper side. It was more or less behind a pillar completely. Opiwrites getting a bit lucky. White test microfilms are so lethal that even with like a white test, you might want to take the walkaway animation over just moving the head back and forth.
34% on the first flirt on a close white. So It was a bit of a scary start, but Opie has gotten out of it unscathed and is now a little bit behind the clock as he goes back into the usual game plan of flirt first.
Yeah, so with Opiwrites in general, we're wondering how many of these games he's going to try and rush. The answer is not going to be a majority of them, typically. But I'd be very surprised to see 2 rush games in a row, especially when you're down 2-0.
Yeah,
That would have
absolutely.
been very bold, and he hasn't really had the opportunity in this game.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you've got a good setup for it, you may as well. But there's no reason to try to force it at this point. Gets a fingerprint off of a drink, so that's a nice little pickup that will likely be useful later in the game.
Yeah,
Back
and
into conversation with the seduction target as well for 68%.
it does feel like Graash has a good control of this party. He's spending a majority of the time just staring at the list animation, which is in part because the ambassador is safe and everybody's in conversation. There isn't much else to watch.
Oh, that's a nice little green time ad at the right window.
Yeah, on the topic of watches. Uh, okay, green time out here is gonna be pretty crucial. No matter what our win condition is, if it's gonna be missions or having a shot happen, I think the extra 45 seconds is going to be a large part of what's going to give Opie a chance.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's been a bit of a slow party in general so far, for Opie as well. Seduction target drops in to say hi, and we're able to get the flirt done. So that's 1 mission completion and a fingerprint in pocket with a minute and a half left to play.
This is a request. This is because the ambassador just took their second drink of the party, which is a bit of a blessing. Unfortunately, the cost here is we are getting a highlight. Graash seems to be on the fact that we could have 2 fingerprints, and we only have 2 missions.
Yeah, that was not the shortest of Toby paths over to us either, so that gives the game away a little bit as well.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have the print done. We do have our flirt done. 2 missions to get and just under a minute to get them.
Okay, we're approaching 30 seconds here. I'm curious if there's going to be a
There's a
few slow
purloin.
peeps.
Green purloin, and
Okay.
we've already got a small bit of chain going, I think, but it's on a suspected double agent, which we had no way of knowing. There's the take. There's the bug on the way out. Did he get a look at it? I
What?
don't think he saw the bug.
His bug
3
pack is
seconds.
tracked from
Does
the
he see
purloin
the
too.
list? He does not see the list. No shot comes off, and Opiwrites gets one back from the spy side.
So yeah, what happened there? 41 seconds left in the game. Opiwrites starts running at the ambassador. Graash, understandably, tries to look over and see if there was a bug. Looks over slightly too late. While he's watching this path and watching the potential bug, he misses the purloin, and because of the camera angle on Ballroom being so low, he doesn't really get a strong visible look at the list, even though he seemed to be actively trying until 2 or 3 seconds, and 2 or 3 seconds isn't enough to be able to shoot Opie at the end here. A classy mini rush here in these times before the game gets too late, and the only thing that you're looking for is gonna be precisely what Opie did: bugs and purloins.
Hey, if you can line up 2 hardtails at the same time, your opponent can only see one of them. And if your opponent's trying to see one of them and doesn't, then you've got away with it.
Good news to us. We've already had 2 spy wins in 3 games. If they can keep up this sort of pace, we'll have a banger of a set. We got one more ballroom game for
Absolutely, we
you.
will.
1 second, I'll be fixing my audio. For some reason, it doesn't pick up the game anymore. One will be
Oh,
1
that's
minute.
odd.
Yeah, 1 minute. Okay, interesting.
Sorry about the technical
Hmm.
difficulties. Shouldn't take us too long to get back to it.
Okay, we're back. My apologies. Yeah.
51%. Our first green flirt of the game, I believe.
Okay, what's the plan here now?
Looks like it's going to be timer flirt for now, while he sort of sorts out what he wants to do with the rest of this party.
Yeah, in moments like this, when all you're doing is watching your seduction target, uh, waiting for them to be able to be loved again. I do appreciate people who are like looking at the other AI and figuring out who potentially could be somebody you want to keep in for when you do your contact or somebody you want to potentially frame. We've been looking for fingerprints. We're not gonna find one here. We did smudge it, so and we don't hit the green on the flirt. No mission completion as of yet.
Yeah, you almost never see action test ignored on a fingerprint attempt for good reason. That was certainly unusual, but no print. Flirt not quite done is at 85%. Back into conversation with the seduction target. This is going to be the flirt getting done, so at least we'll have that under our belt. But with only a minute and 15 or so left to play, coming out the other side of it, this is going to be a difficult situation to be in.
Yeah, as a reminder, we did see a highlight earlier for flirt with Alice in the other game. However, this one's been a lot slower now with 2 missions done. But we weren't really rushing flirt in part because we just couldn't hit the second
Contact has
green.
come off.
Here comes the purloin,
Purloin
and
has
it's gonna
come off.
be
It's a green purloin.
highlight. That's much worse for our sniper. With a reject there from a highlight. This is gonna be actually a very similar situation. With the take here, we could see a shot on Salmon or on the newly highlighted
Oh,
Spy.
but he got a perfect look at the list fade.
Yeah, but it was a reject from like they had 2 highlights who were in the chain.
True.
But for whatever reason, is more willing to shoot correctly, which advisable.
Yeah, if you just always shoot correctly, you're probably going to be okay.
Okay, Opiwrites does what I asked of him, which is not have to stop playing Ballroom forever. Going 2-2. Now we get to see his pick, so actually might be in the driver's seat here.
Yeah, definitely some early drama on Ballroom, but Opie has some momentum behind him going into his own pick. It's Gallery, any 4 of 8 against Graash's Sniper. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Okay, what's it gonna be here? Early bookcase here for the character formerly known as Queen. She's also known as Queen now, but she was previously too.
Oh,
White microfilm,
that's the
free at
animation
bookcase.
transfer. It was very on camera. The head turn was very visible, but it doesn't look like Graash got a good look at it.
Yeah, when we pick characters, it's often for the quality of their bugs, or maybe secondarily like the speed of the character, especially on a big venue like this. Things like the quality of the microfilm are less considered. Why are we eating this highlight now? Did Graash see it and want to hide the highlight?
It's very possible, but if he saw it, you'd think he would just taken a shot, right?
Typically, with a white microfilm, people are very confident because it's a very visible sort of animation. Um, it could be even worse. If it's a highlight for flirt that we didn't do, that would be atrocious.
Well, it also might be not great for Graash in that situation if Opie never goes near them again.
Okay.
That's a green purloin. We've seen a lot of these so far. Into the blue bookcase we go to try to finish up this microfilm. There's the take, though, so he's not going to be able to get it done in time. Not able to hit the green test on the print either. It's another white test on the animation transfer, but Graash's laser was busy.
Yeah, post purloin. It wasn't like directly after the purloin, but maybe in that moment where you're like assuming that they think they're safe. Uh, Either way, Opiwrites has 2 hardtails, and he was highlight at a moment where he wasn't doing any of them. So we're either in a really good spot or a really bad spot, but definitely nothing in between.
Transfer done, purloin done, and that's our first flirt of the game. A close green for 51%. This is a weird game. There's the contact coming off as well.
So we, in theory, could stand here for 30 more seconds, hit another green flirt, and be good to go. However, if Pearls moves, our seduction target moves at all, she is very slow and gallery is very big. It might become a bit of a car chase with a potential car crash at the end of it.
Yep, that does happen on this venue sometimes. And she does step away. It's to green bookcase. And her spot immediately gets taken by Alice. So she's not going to be able to get back in where she came from again. 1 minute to play. Do we chase to green bookcase? We do.
And
Take
now
the
we're
flirt
stepping over
before
the
the
briefcase
pickup.
to finish this
Does
flirt.
hit the green test. Grabs a print off of the book. He's been trying to get one of these all game, but it didn't wind up mattering. Opiwrites picks up the spy win on the first game of Gallery.
Yeah, and given that we have potentially gotten the fingerprint at when we went to the bookcase last time, this was a potential 5 missions that Opiwrites could have been considered for. Even if you missed the microfilm, and we're presuming they did because Opiwrites is alive, he should have still had tracks on potential purloin, contact, flirt, fingerprints. This is a bit of a dropped game here from Graash, and Opiwrites now has 2 spy wins out of his 3 spy games.
Yeah, was able to get a lot done under the radar, just constantly getting missions done when Graash was just sort of glancing elsewhere. The timing worked out very nicely for Opie, as Graash finds himself behind going into his spy game on Gallery in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And it's going to be more Irish. That's 2 games in a row for Graash. Yeah. We're gonna go outside. There is not much outside, except for if you happen to be Graash and you want to flirt with the man, Mr. A. Disney himself.
So early flirt coming off, a close white again for 34%. Suspected devil agent is out here as well. And this conversation filled up fast.
Yeah, gallery is probably near the top of the list of places that you shouldn't be doing fake banana breads. At least in a way that isn't like actively framing, because there's just always going to be a ton of people out of conversation. I would also appreciate if Graash didn't just timer flirt every single game. He is going to put himself in time trouble consistently if this is his decision.
Oh, it looks like we've hung out here long enough that we're likely to pick up a timer flirt out of it. Unless Disney leaves, I think that's the plan. Indeed, we do manage to pick it up. This one's green for 85%, so we don't have to worry about our positioning for the last flirt.
Yeah, I would have liked maybe saving a bit of time there, especially with outside on gallery, with your opponent often zoomed in. You can usually get cheekier flirts and just waiting there for 40 seconds. But either way, Graash isn't in the worst position. He just needs to make a decision about now, about how he's going to proceed with this game. Is he going to pick up a statue and give himself that option? Is he going to go find a fingerprint? Doing
Right
the
now,
flirt
it's
here,
just finishing this flirt.
this is almost pessimistic, the Graash. Um, the only reason I can like think of a wide strategy of playing this slowly and doing the flirt over anything else at this moment is you think that Opiwrites is playing a bit jumpy. We did see a civilian shot earlier, and Opiwrites hasn't been his true self throughout the tournament, but this is super high level SpyParty. This is to get into the semifinals. I don't think we're gonna see a random civilian shot if you don't evoke it.
Minute and a half to play as we step into the green bookcase. So finally in a position to get some sort of progress at some point.
Yeah, but what are we gonna do if we do the microfilm? anything but just walking it straight to the blue bookcase. We're gonna have a book in our hands.
Oh, it just goes back again.
I think we broke the animation too. Contact seems reasonable here, but like, what's the finish? Are we doing contact purloin? Are we doing double inspects into swap? Like, this feels like maybe you need to audible to just doing a purloin and hoping somebody gets shot sort of level. Even though if we do the purloin, we're gonna be halfway done with our missions.
It's not a good situation. There's the contact, no purloin. 45 seconds, bug comes off as the ambassador steps in and back out again. We got highlight for it, but no shot. That could have been the moment we needed to get back into this game. One mission to go, 30 seconds to get it.
High level spy party, both players finding the play.
It's a purloin! It's a green purloin from the back!
We've already been to Green Bookcase. This is a safe place for us to hang out, in theory. This is going to get really curious if we get one more reject. It will guarantee overtime. It's going to be a low light 2 here with wheels.
It's going to be a little bit of overtime, but not a lot. Just making sure the list is gone before he pulls the trigger. Does find the shot, though, and Opie, once again, is able to find the first 2 games of the double.
Yeah. And this is really Grash's own doing. We put ourselves in a spot where we had to do missions. The bug, fortunately, we were in the right place at the right time, but we left ourselves with the issue of then we had to do a fairly raw purloin. With the green test and with the rejects, we gave ourselves a chance. If Graash can keep up those sort of action tests in the future, he has chances in other games, but I don't really feel like he had a great chance at any point in this game because we were so slow with the flirt.
Agreed. Either
Good stuff by Obi to catch that bug, though. The highlight after that bug is impressive because that was nasty stuff from the ambassador to do the step his toes into the conversation and run away.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is our first 2 games of gallery done. Opie is up 4-2. We've got 2 more before we go to halftime. Let's see how they go as Opie steps back into the spy side in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Oots, are we going to do the exact same thing, just microfilm at Green Bookcase to start the game?
This is gonna be a hard book walk to start the game. Just straight green into blue, slam the book, and walk away. Does get highlight and then neutral it and then highlight again, so that's something.
Yeah, so Graash missed the highlight, but it is so crucial that we take this highlight that he took about 5 seconds of his life making sure that we were the highlight. That's terrible for Opie.
Yeah, not good.
It's not a ooh I didn't know what you're up to highlight. That's a please sit down, sir. I need you to be glowing for the rest of the game, and I'll shoot you in about a minute. If you want to do something else, I'll give me an excuse to.
51% of the flirt. Flirt is the one thing that's not going to get a shot.
Yeah, but like, how do you play gallery from here? If you try and do a silent game, you're going to get shot because at that point
you don't do a silent game here. You try to frame someone.
And if you contact, you get shot.
Yeah.
So
I think you try to hit a good fake and try to get someone else shot. At least make Graash do a lot of second guessing here.
Yeah, the other option is go full chaos, like inspect the same statue 3 times, and then go do the other ones, and they're like, well, now you've done 2 your 3 inspects, but you don't really end up doing that very often. Bringing attention to yourself in SpyParty is so unadvisable in the majority of your games that in the few games that it would be applicable, you're usually not aware that that's the time that you need to be stupid. You need to be a little bit silly.
It usually doesn't even register as an option. Second statue visit, and that's going to be enough. The shot comes off, and Graash is not going down any further yet.
Yeah, and this is safety. We've been within 2 miles of the ambassador, so
3-4, the current scoreline as Graash steps into the spy side on the last game of Gallery versus Opiwrites Sniper. Again, spying to try to come out level in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
He was able to do it in Ballroom. We'll see if he's now able to do it on his own pick, which he should also have pride about. Queen
I think
here.
it was actually Graash that went ahead in Ballroom and then lost 4 straight and now is trying to come back to even.
Oh, goodness. We had the bug opportunity there with a little bit of cover between Pearls and Rocker. Not taken, and probably for the better. These behind-the-back bugs on paintings are kind of out of style. There was a moment where it was really one of those huge things that just was constant in every game of Gallery. Now things like microfilm, which we've seen a couple times already, are much more popular than just kind of waiting for the ambassador to walk behind you bugs.
Picking up a nice little green print off of a drink here. So that could definitely be useful later on. Unfortunately, no other progress as of yet, and we're under 3 minutes.
I mean, the good news is our seduction target is getting a lot of suspicion for things like statues. The bad news is we haven't been able, like, you're not gonna go flirt at statues.
You're not. And when she finally does join conversation with us, it's at the exact other end of the conversation. So even though we hit a green test on it, it was still just 27%. Into statues we go to pick up our first pair of inspects. But it's been a slow start from Graash.
Yeah, but we're in a good position. There's a fingerprint on the blue bookcase. What we really would love if the ambassador would go to the other pair of statues, as he does. That is the statue. If we want to complete 2 missions at once, it will be that particular statue, and Graash has clearly seen it. If we can figure out how to get 73% of our flirt and contact, and then make it back to that statue before it's smudged, that would be really nice.
How
Probably submit
long
shop
do
for
we
it.
risk delaying this
Banana
statue
bread.
visit? Because you don't want to go fast, but you want to get there before it's smudged. Contact comes off. That's off a decent number of lowlights, but not too many. And I think he's going for it now. Indeed, he is. So that's not a big delay between print and pickup. But that is going to be the prints done. That is going to be the inspects done. All we've got to get done now is the flirt, but we've only got 27% on it with 1:20 to play.
Yeah, the second cycle there isn't helpful. We want to make sure that we don't break any animations or anything
this could
walking
be
out of
good.
here. Graash is in the driver's seat here. We
Oh no, but the shot comes off for the flirt!
would have to be shot for flirt, which, good on Opie, is willing to be patient. That was not a shot for the inspects. Those were done well over 10 seconds ago. He is willing, however, to shoot for this potential flirt. With a minute left on Gallery, I think most of the time this is going to be the finishing flirt. You can afford to hold off on the statues, but really patient play, and that's generally going to be indicative of future success.
Tucking in right next to someone at a painting like that is not an inconspicuous thing to do, but it usually doesn't get you shot. That was amazing.
Yeah, just classy stuff there. I'm clearly at a good track on both the fingerprints, one of them being difficult, and the inspects, which he used the highlights for. So good stuff from Opie, and that puts us at 4-4 or 5-3.
3-5.
Yeah,
In fact.
Graash needs to get back the momentum. Started off well, but if it continues this way, we're just seeing a lot of OP wins in the last few games. It's gonna be a lot of 3 of X maps, 3 of 6 here in Highrise. We've got Terrace in the future here too. Let's see how he plays Highrise.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a different sort of style in the next 3 venues. We've got Highrise and then Balcony and then Terrace, all back to back, all very small mission count venues. I was about to say all 3 of, but Balcony's a 2 of.
Yeah.
So
But even
On to the
before we
next
jump,
one. It's Opiwrites on the spy side, Graash on the sniper to try to get himself properly back into this match. Remember, Graash only needs to draw it to get through to the championship bracket. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
with 3 of 6 hours, we always got to talk about what the 6th mission is here. It is going to be swap. Our sniper is going to have to rotate over and double check the statues that are far away from the rest of the party. And it's going to be on Opiwrites if he can find a way to gain value out of that. Because generally, swap is going to be worse than fingerprint for actual completion.
Agreed. So it's 51% off the first flirt and immediately stepped away from it too. So Opiwrites doesn't want to take too much time in this game.
Yeah, and we've seen Graash get into these time limited situations, not time trouble, but like he's just having to do missions at the end of the game and whatever's been provided to him. Opiwrites is currently winning the set and has generally gotten away with being more aggressive on flirt. That
Speaking
was
of being
very
aggressive on
aggressive.
flirt, that is 2 flirt and goes, both close green. So that's flirt done into center statue. So that's a lot of suspicion on Opiwrites right now. But all we need is that contact, and that's going to be it after this.
Yeah, and we saw in the last game with Opiwrites willing to hold and then shoot for flirt. If you finish this contact 2 minutes on the clock, are you gonna wait for another talk for the flirt when I never get it? We don't really get the opportunity. I thought Double Agent was going to conversation. They've gone to Blue Bookcase, so we are just chilling, hoping that they come in here.
I really like how Opie's played this game. A lot more aggressive than you usually see people play, but it's working out so
Oh,
far.
what?
Oh
Contact's
my, it's a
overrated.
green purloin. It's silent game time, ladies and gentlemen. Does this work? It looks like the
The
list is being paid attention to pretty carefully.
yeah, the fade here matters. The
Back in
reject
the
chain matters.
statues! Opie!
This is like risking getting shot for a stupid animation, by the way. I'm not too sure I like the statue pickup in 2023. Yeah, he broke the animation, but Graash wasn't watching for it.
No one's taken this list yet. This has been a pretty long green. The green
Yeah,
continues as Red Dress walks away from it. This has been like a minute so far almost.
yeah. I'm not sure who OP PayPal'd, if it was Toby
It's
or
an
Checker
SDA.
or
SDA takes it, list fades, there's the countdown. Did Graash see it? He sees it now. What's the reaction? It's not fast enough, and Opie extends the lead to 3.
yeah. Even with the purloin gone, for anybody who isn't literally Queen, they still only have 2 missions. Maybe you could be concerned about a bug that you potentially missed. But with the reject chain so long, this really feels like a situation where you need to see the fade and then go, are they framing OP or or is it OP doing a rush? But it stopped being a rush. The purloin took so long. We did it at 148 and it actually took at 59 seconds. That's 50 seconds. When we were doing it, it was a rush. By the end, it was now a late game purloin by the time it took.
And if you don't it's hard to shoot someone for a rush when the last mission gets taken in under a minute.
Yeah, that's what a weird game. OP, yeah, as either paid off the developer of the game, paid off the waiter. I don't know what happened there, but you'll take that every time if you're gonna do a green purloin, which in itself is not a guarantee. Let's see if Graash can have that sort of luck here back as the spy.
In 3, 2, 1, playing it. The party giveth and the party taketh away, and that time the party definitely giveth.
We've taken a highlight.
I don't know why highlight, but it was like the moment the game started, we got highlight. 51%
Yeah,
from the flirt, but there's a few people who have very early highlights.
if OP like caught the AI wanted to go to the window pad and then we turned around immediately, that would be wild. Uh,
It certainly would
it's
be.
definitely happened before. It's the sort of thing that I've spent a month caring about and then realized is stupid. But when you're During high-level spy party, stupid little things. Like if you've seen a situation once before, you can find applications for it. And Graash is just eating a really ugly highlight. There are a few other ones at this point now. He's not alone, but like
That's too flirt.
you don't
Mission
want to
done.
bug when you've taken a free highlight. Like Ambassador, you want to like make it better for us? This
Ambassador
is
might walk around the back here, but Graash is not gonna hang around to find out what the Ambassador's exit path is going to be. It's out to the green bookcase. Keep in mind, no transfer, no fingerprint.
Yeah, this green bookcase does make the sniper a little wary that you could slip over and try and do a swap when they're not paying attention. But it's a very basic play and not one I'd expect Graash to do because it doesn't work. The win rate of sneak over and do a swap from green bookcase has got to be like 20% or less for just getting away with the play, let alone the actual win rate.
So there's the contact gone. One low light from it, so a pretty dang good contact.
Yeah, and with it taking over 90 seconds, uh, OP's gonna assume that everybody's finished flirt about now. So it's really just gonna come down if somebody goes pick up Miggle statues, if we can get away with the hardtail. Those are really the two big things we're afraid of.
So into blue bookcase now. We've been to both bookcases, but transfer is off.
Uh, Fortunately for Graash, the ambassador's been in mortal danger just consistently here hanging out at the painting. The bad news is we weren't doing anything. The bookcase is not a mission. Similarly to OP, he's taken swap as his sixth.
Down to 45 seconds. We had such a strong start to this game, but we've been bleeding time ever since. No good indication yet about what this last mission is going to be.
If we can get a reject chain here, it might stress the sniper. Uh, yeah, Cowboy taking. There just isn't much, and Ambassador's not in a good place to bug. We can't like
Yeah,
walk over and do a bug here. We need him to move, and he might not. That's
oh,
not
he
any better,
does
Ambassador.
move. One of the
So
best things we could do right now is set up for a reverse drive-by, but it's going to be the Purloin instead. It is a green Purloin, and it's going to be a long overtime, especially with that reject. It's likely to hang at 0, actually.
Rocker is going to eat the highlight here. I don't know if that's representative of the shot. Definitely now is confident it's going to be the Purloin, and I mean you can shoot now if you're that confident.
And it looks
Yeah.
like he was that confident. The shot comes off, and Opie continues to widen this lead.
Yeah, I'm curious when we talk about like styles of sniper, be it behavioral or camping or whatever. Um, it's these sort of games where you're like, Rocker could be finished, General could be finished. What what throughout the game is going to differentiate these two characters? And potentially the fact that General was highlit for literally the whole game,
Indeed.
uh, was the issue. If Opiwrites might not even remember why he highlighted him, because it was 3-4 minutes ago, but uh, when given the choice between these two, something small or something behavioral is often going to be the difference.
Opiwrites is in a great position here. Graash has a mountain to climb, but balcony is often a very good place to start climbing. Let's see if he can get that started from the sniper side of balcony in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, a large part of Opiwright's comfort with Balcony is that he has a good action test.
Oh, look at that start.
47's a weird one though. He's not going to be finishing a 3 flirt. You need 49 to be able to do that. But it puts him in a good position where even if Pearls comes in and goes to a slightly less optimal place in conversation, we should still be good. This is very optimal. Pearls has just slept in right next to us, and we will be able to flirt with our seduction target post haste.
Yeah, but getting that free flirt at the windows, especially because our seduction target came to us,
Mm-hmm.
this could effectively be a 3 green game without hitting the green tests.
Yeah. Now, I think this
Banana
might
bread.
be one of the biggest examples of like a white test banana bread being incriminating.
But
Pearls
it
looks
wasn't
awful.
because he hit the green on the banana bread.
Yeah,
Hit the
green
green
on
on
the
the
banana
second
bread.
flirt as well, so it's 98%.
Pearls looks like the spy. They've met somebody at Windows early in the game. They were talking during the banana bread. They more or less have the same profile that we do, uh,
But
but
way worse.
way worse. So as long as Opiwrites doesn't end up in an awkward position, we've already seen a Pearls walk away from somebody. This game or this set. Uh, we should be pretty good. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
think we're time for
hard
next
to
talk.
see Graash winning this game unless something goes disastrously wrong for Opiwrites. Under 30 seconds to play, but timer flirt should be ticking down any time now. There's the
Uh,
expiration. There's the flirt. He's paying attention to Opie, but I don't think it's enough to take a shot on. He's thinking about it, but no shot comes off. And Opiwrites finds really a lot of match points.
I think the highlights more or less represent the people he was willing to shoot. We stole the conversation from Pearls. Queen left it. So there was no opportunity for the civilian shot. That laser lingered on OP though.
It
I
really
th-
did.
I think if Graash was feeling a bit more confident, maybe hasn't lost like 6 of the last 7 games sort of idea, we might have seen a bullet in OP. But this is balcony. If you're not playing 100%, you're gonna get shot. And even if you are playing 100%, this is just a really good spy game. This is the sort of spy game you want when you're going into a balcony.
Now keep in mind, if Graash draws this set, he makes it through.
Mm-hmm.
It's 5 games. That is not an easy feat, especially against someone of Opiwrites' caliber. But it is still doable. It's not done yet. Graash, on the spy side of balcony, has got to start it here, though, in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
No cheekiness or anything. We've seen Purloin more and more in balcony as goes on. But both these players are gonna just do bug, and generally it's the better idea. It makes the sniper have more things to watch, and there really aren't enough things on balcony to watch to take one of them away.
So it took a little bit of time to get into conversation where we
Banana
wanted to
bread.
be, but we did get there. We actually contact before the flirt, which is an unusual decision.
Yeah, this contact makes you feel like, did a bug happen with its timing? I think Ambassador's been super safe, and Opie Wrights is a better bug watcher than I am anyways.
Selection target steps away, and we did not get a flirt.
Uh-oh, we are leaning on game plans B and C, but A is gonna be in the balance here.
Plan
Bug is
A just returned to us.
Yeah, plan A is finish his flirt. Plan B and plan C, in whatever order you want to choose, is somebody else gets shot and bug. Uh, we're back on track.
51% off the flirt, but selection target has stepped away here. That's Grash's first talk of the game, so he's not looking very suspicious right now at all. Has a drink in that hand, so is not threatening the ambassador either.
Yeah, the issue here is because we did that talk, we weren't given an excuse to leave this conversation, and instead of leaving and coming back near the selection target, we've taken the mediocre flirt is green, but we need to leave conversation and come back and talk. Safety off on
10
Boots,
seconds.
but she needs to talk.
Does Boots talk?
Ambassador ruins it. No, Ambassador talking is the worst. Okay,
5
Boots could die
seconds.
here.
Do
No, she's
we
sipping.
take this flirt at the last second of asking? No, it's just gonna be the bug on the way into conversation. Did get the mission win countdown, but it didn't count down for long.
Yeah, so we did the flirt at 34 seconds, and we never got it to expire. One of the issues that happened here is Graash decided to go right behind his seduction target, and with seduction, the way that it decreases is based on your distance. Uh, we say 45 seconds when you're standing in conversation right next to them. But Graash didn't really decrease the timer because while he wasn't in the conversation with General, he was very much in the near vicinity. They were back to back.
So that is the match sorted for every reason that actually matters. It is, in fact, going to be Opiwrites going through to the championship bracket over Graash. Opiwrites is going to be second in his group. We are, however, going to play out the rest of it. It's effectively a show match from here on out, so expect shenanigans, but that's where we stand right now. It's Terrace next, with Opiwrites on the Spy first in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, at this point, I'm not sure if they're gonna play all the games, but they might also not be that confident on the math. I
Shenanigans.
I find my shenanigans. Terrace is like the worst map for shenanigans, though.
Yeah, it's
Like, what
true.
are you gonna do? Swap? Like, no.
Please swap. That would be
Or
so
like,
funny.
no. I mean, the most common shenanigan, and to a point that it's probably not even shenanigans, just like Plan C is like purloin frame. Find somebody who's gone to bar recently, and while standing next to them, and they talk, going to the bar and trying to get them shot. Uh, the real shenanigans, literally, yeah, it's the 7th mission. We're playing with all of
Yeah.
them on. If you want to go do a random swap or like go swap after Smallman, they're gonna see the fade. They're gonna shoot you, but it's the most interesting play.
I mean, to be fair, last time I cast a show match, someone green time added 13 times in a row.
Uh, with Smallman or not Smallman?
With not Smallman!
That's fair. What venue?
I don't remember. I think it might have been Gallery, which helps.
Oh, God, with Gallery is not the first one that comes to mind. Okay, we finished Flirt, by the way. Opiwrites continuing the theme of just being the faster person on Flirt, which is the major constraint on your clock. The mission is going to be almost always completed, but how you go about it is almost the biggest thing about how a spy has a style in this game.
So we've got the
Uh,
flirt done. We're sort of trying to line up a little bit so that when the ambassador steps away from here, we've got a chance at a reverse drive-by bug.
yeah,
That was a very buggable path, but he was exposed enough that he didn't want to take it, which is fair.
yeah, I think that was like more of the ambassador than you wanted to see. If the ambassador like walked in a straight line or something, you could like maybe time it perfectly. When he's just walking all over you, there's no chance that the sniper's not watching anything but your arm.
Yeah, absolutely. Double Agent drops in to say hi, so there's that available. 2 people at the bar. Now just the one at the bar, but there's a few other people out and about, so no movement from Opiwrites after this flirt has done.
There's a ton of highlights, but none of them are in for this potential contact. Double
I'm in
agents in our
red.
conversation, and
There's the
I don't think
contact,
it's going to be us or Disney who gets shot
but
on
we
this
still
particular.
need a mission. It's just gonna be a crash bug, isn't it? Oh yeah, that's a very obvious. That's one of the crashiest bugs I have seen in some time.
OP Wrights prides himself on good bugs.
That was not
That
one
was
of them.
incorrect. Yeah. I mean, one of the funniest things about it too is like there were people there. You could have cover. Unfortunately, that person is Smallman, like the one person you don't want there.
All right. Well,
Don't
it's not going to be a comeback, but at least it's something as Graash steps into the spy side of Terrace in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
We got twin. I think. No, we're just outside of bug range. It would have been nice if we were in range because we got someone like General who's just gonna block the majority of the arm that would be visible. Another weird percent. Graash has taken a lot of green flirts. His action tests have been just really good throughout the set.
Yeah.
Um, but his flirting, it's not been active. It's a lot of the time it's been his seduction targets coming to him. That felt like it would have been a bug in a different world where the sniper isn't just holding the angle consistently that would see it. That was a weird path.
Yeah.
Tobo's gone robotic for me. Is that for you too, Wrestler?
Indeed it has.
Okay. How do you feel about Terrace, Wrestler?
Um, balcony, but worse. That's about it.
Balcony, but we've got a bar to make you feel better about how it's worse.
You can drink yourself to.
I mean, you could drink yourself on balcony, but you have more time on terrace, I guess.
Just,
Yeah, we've got this 45% flirt. We've now got the contact with a
Banana
very
bread.
full conversation. It's only giving off one low light. This is a good position for Graash, assuming that he can get into a comfortable position with flirt. If we're gonna do a hard tell, I would also like to see something lined up here. This would be the time you'd go get the list, to be able to delegate or be able to. JK. General's getting shot for fingerprints?
I'm wondering. I'll have to take a look again, but I imagine so. Maybe a bug
No.
credit as well at the very start.
Yeah, General hasn't touched a thing this whole game. This is a bug credit. But yeah, there were animations being done. Neither of them were bug. It could potentially be misremembered fingerprint. Either way, Graash is now on a streak as soon as it didn't matter. Tobo, are you back with us? That deafening silence means I think you have a second job to do, Wrestler. We were aware he was having some internet issues earlier, so this
I mean,
isn't
it's fine. It's the
great.
last two games. I can
Yeah,
I get to critique the players mercilessly. It's gonna be fine.
What was your standing in this tournament?
Anyways, Opiwrites playing on the spy side as Seek on Modern in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Didn't answer my question.
I purposely avoided the question.
This is 4 of 8. So we are back to being able to do missions. Given the situation that OP's in, where he should be understanding that he has the victory in hand, and given his absolute willingness to flirt at the start of the game and get 51% and try and go quickly, this would be a very typical spot to see an OP attempt to rush. The issue is Modern being so large means a rush isn't going to be you completing a lot of missions back to back. It's going to be you grabbing a purloin and then trying to use the purloin in cover, and we can call that a rush.
You say willingness to flirt early. I think Opiwrites is willing to flirt all the time, all day. So anytime.
Do you think Opiwrites, if we let him, would go to like 200% flirt?
Oh, absolutely.
Just on the regular?
Oh, absolutely. Even that
Like,
there's no benefit for it.
There's no benefit. You can just like make the number go higher. You're like, yep, Alice loves me now. I'm happy.
Yeah, just like just for bragging rights, he would do it every single game. Just because I can get away with it because I'm OP rights, and I do 51% first only, but not this time since we did a white one for 76.
Yeah, we're looking at the timer flirt here, which has been more of Grash's speed. Again, with the book in hand as our potential second mission, we are set up to still be able to complete missions. If we put it back in the green bookcase, we will not be doing that wherever we're going with this walk. Graash, do you want to shoot him? That's
No, he wants to
and
highlight.
it was trying to be sneaky. It wasn't too sneaky, but it was trying to be sneaky.
I think Opiwrites has not been fooled by the attempted sneaky of the highlight. I think he realizes that he is probably maybe not caught, but hard credited for it.
I believe the word the kids use is cooked, but like, not like let him cook. Actually, the kids probably don't use it. The 1930s gangsters. He's cooked, see?
I mean,
I
you
got
are.
the
I mean,
bookcase,
you are around
see?
older than that, right? You're around when the cave paintings were still about.
I think like the game came out in the 1930s. But like SCL was a bit after that. Yeah.
Yeah, understandable.
Cool. What's the plan here, other than do Perlin and get shot? I
think
know,
that
see me do Perlin and get shot. Cool. Good plan. Good plan.
just oh, not even a delegate she is. I'm disappointed in Opiwrites as we have minute 15 left
Into
to
quick
get
leave,
shot.
into go stand next to somebody, highlight, and to send them immediately, or you want to give it 10 seconds? What I would have liked here, if Opiwrites was aware, was somewhere between. Actually, this will work out. The further you can get away from the person you're sending, that's an animation cut there from Duke, which makes it look like we sent him. But it turned out for the better that we were sending a highlight and we were like quite far away when we sent them. It shouldn't help too much, given that we should be top suspect after the microfilm. This, I don't think is going to work out for OP. The banana bread definitely feels like it's covering the purloin, and it ends up being real too.
Indeed,
Real
that's
by
just a
sniper.
shot. Yeah, and the send animation, unfortunately, was also not perfectly executed. The stop talk wasn't super fast, so you can definitely see like the even it doesn't help that it's in the sniper's face as well. So you get definitely
Yeah.
see that quick talk and stop. So
If we had this Graash earlier in the match, this could have been really exciting, but unfortunately, Tobo and me aren't wrong, right? This isn't for all the marbles to tie it up. This is to just keep it close.
yes, to keep it close, it's 6-9. Opiwrites already secured the win on balcony. Graash has won 3 in a row after releasing of that pressure, but unfortunately, during the set that actually mattered, the pressure I think just got too much for him. Maybe not enough experience in these high pressure situations, as you mentioned before, both of you.
I mean, Opie's lost enough finals to make it sure you understand that he gets to the final. Let's watch his last Modern game in 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
So to say it one more time, he is in the semifinals and he will be facing Miniarek. Once this show match is going out, what do you think about that match? That is going to play
I
out?
feel like it's happened a lot, and given that Minirek's been in a lot of finals and Opiwrites has been in a lot of semifinals, I have a suspicion there's probably, if we look at the last 3 cups, seasonal or SMC, we've seen this matchup in the semifinals fairly recently. The issue for Opiwrites is I think Minirek's about as bad as it gets as a opponent to play against when you're rusty. Maybe like Rob's the worst opponent, but like relatively at least. Because things like these pathing lowlights that Minirek takes confidently, if Opiwrites isn't like able to replicate those sort of things, if he has any sort of ignorance about how the game works, Minirek is very much on the top of 2023 knowledge.
Yes, and I think whilst I've been watching basically all of the games thus far, and while his sniper is also his sniper is very solid, especially those by that pathing knowledge. But I think also his spy is super underrated in terms of putting pressure, and I don't think even OP sniper, which it sets that look good as we finally finish Flirt on Graash, a bit faster than usual, I would add. I just think that Opiwrites is gonna be on such a mental tax. He's not gonna have any Tamo Vs during that set, and I think that Minirek just has more stamina and more. Just played better throughout the entirety of SMC thus far.
Yeah, there was a time where I just got really frustrated with spies throughout the community. Because we had basically it was a moment where all the spies were either old hat and weren't learning new things, or were relatively new. Even somebody like Opiwrites, who just played a lot of games quickly, wasn't playing in a way with a lot of finesse. The players that jump out who like really brought a modern spy are like the Dutch players. You got Nebula and Sauerkraut, and it definitely feels like Mini Rex. Maybe not to the level of Nebula currently. I think that still the best spies are still the best spies, but it's caught up to a point where Nebula was maybe a year or two ago, and that is enough to win
I think
SMC.
Yeah, and also what I think is, I would say Nebula is the best. I would agree. Miniarch, I think, is the second best currently at this very moment. Sauerkraut is third, as
Yeah,
we do
like,
get a contact and a fingerprint in the meantime.
I mean, in this group, we saw a level of dominance from Brav. Opiwrites has gone through. Opiwrites is ostentatiously one of the 4 best players that we have currently in the competitive scene if results equal skill. Rav beat him. What was the score?
14-2.
14-2. We've even taken a highlight, by the way. We would really like a fingerprintable statue. No, we already got statues. We would literally like Ambassador to touch something immediately. And look, he's doing so. We don't have a fingerprint on this statue. Oh no, Ambassador's a jerk. And now we get shot.
Wow.
Welcome
Okay.
to SpyParty. The Opiwrites does recover this. I believe that's going to be 10-6.
Yes, that is
Here.
indeed 10-6, and yeah, we can go to the bracket here. I think I have it. Yes, so Maniac will be facing Opiwrites, who goes second to this group, while Rav is going first, and Adafayesh is second from the other group. So it will be Rav versus Adafayesh and Opiwrites versus Mini. And I fear that Opie, even though he got this win, I think he's going to run in and probably one of the hottest players currently on one of his best forms yet. And
yeah, I think it's hard to bet against Rav as the favorite. But in regards to form, in regards to momentum, in regards to just a balanced play, both with Spy and Sniper, Miniarek, if you talk about basically any intangible, is a scary opponent. OP is solid. Adefiyesh is incredibly solid. But it's going to be hard to not, at first glance, go, yeah, it's Rav Miniarek is on paper. That being said, if Opiwrites can play that portion of the game where he's just streaking against Graash, and I don't think it was poor play from Graash's side, it was very solid play. If he can keep that sort of momentum throughout a whole game, he can beat anybody. He can beat Rav, he can beat Miniarek, he can beat anybody. So
oh yeah, I'm looking at the score sheet. We won 9 out of 10 games in the middle of the set. So we started on Ballroom, ended on Balcony. We won 9 out of 10 in that set.
Yeah,
in
and
that part.
If you're playing against an opponent who's also playing spectacular in that particular moment, you won't get 9 out of 10 wins. Some of these were even if minor, like ball drops there from Graash, but if you can maintain that, is finals the same setup? Is it still going to be 16 games?
The rules haven't changed, so semifinals first we have semifinals before the finals. So semifinals will be first to 11. So it's the same setup with 1 ban, 1 restrict, but we'll have 2 doubles and we'll have 1 single each. So
yeah, when it comes to things like predictions, the longer the set is, the better it is generally for the favorite. But for someone like Opie, if they can win 9 out of 10 games, that's a way you make a comeback. That's a way that you make an insurmountable lead. So I'm excited. We'll see that. We've only got 3 more matches for you here.
well, not really, a bit more. We still have another match for Pride and for 3rd place. We still have Lev versus Koopa to battle out, but that'll be sometime next week.
I don't typically trust this community to do 3rd place matches. It turns out losing 2 games in a row is miserable. That being said, this is SMC. There's a decent amount of money to get if you win 3rd too.
As far as I know, the players have already scheduled their match, so they are ready to play that. And I think we'll have next weekend we'll have the both of the semifinals cast ready to go. So look out for that. It's gonna be Miniarch versus Opiwrites and Ra versus Adafayesh. And with all that said, it's time for us to sign out. Thank you very much for Pone for coming here, and Taboshi for also casting. Well, he couldn't make the final couple of games, but that's how the cookies crumble.
Cookies do crumble. Thank you to anybody else who's watching here in the future on YouTube and whatnot. We appreciate you.
Very
Thank
well.
you for having me.
Indeed. Very well.